Hello, my name is Rudy Setinsek. I'm from Holland, Ohio, and I'm here before you today to discuss what I feel are some improprieties about our court system. And I'm also here to hopefully provide a message to people about how our probate system works and possible probate corruption. Approximately 20 years ago, my parents, Rudy and Mary Setinsek, put together a trust document, and since I'm the only child, they thought they were safeguarding their assets by putting this document together and nominating me as the successor trustee. Well, when my father and mother, they both contracted a disease as Alzheimer's disease, and they were unable to take care of themselves, and I applied for guardianship of my parents and over their estate. My father and mother both had 2 evaluations by the local doctors and by Trumbull Psychiatric Ward, which labeled them incompetent. Anyone that has faced the nightmare of dealing with this horrific effect of Alzheimer's disease in their immediate family can testify to the fact that this is quite the ordeal. Both of my parents became affected with the disease about 3 years ago, immediately after their retirement. If any of you are familiar with the symptoms, you can relate to the fact that they become increasingly unpredictable and distant over time, which can be very hard to deal with. My parents during their working years were self-employed, hard-working, honest people who saved every cent to provide a future for themselves and their family. My parents also initiated this trust, a revocable trust, back in 1990 to hopefully safeguard any situations that might arise in the future. As I have mentioned, my parents' disabling disease made it almost impossible to manage their needs while at home. So as their newly appointed guardian, I was faced with the reality of having to place them in assisted living. As their guardian, I made it a personal commitment to see that they were happy and cared for. Eventually, over the next couple months, a nightmare began to take shape due to the fact that my delusional, paranoid father, due to his disease, began to call the court and make wild accusations that I was trying to commit him and I was stealing his money. Nothing could be further from the truth, but as I would soon find out, the court would use these accusations for their own monetary gain. Soon after these accusations were made, the probate court decided to launch a full investigation against me based only on the merit of my father's accusations. The first order of business for the court was to appoint an attorney, Attorney Douglas Newman, as my parents' attorney to investigate and pursue any type of action he could. My attorney, Attorney John Grundy at the time, brought up the point that he couldn't see how an incompetent person could be represented by an attorney, but they appointed him anyway. As my parents' attorney, he began to investigate, as I mentioned, any type of action he could. He immediately filed motions to have me removed as their guardian and successor trustee to the Setinsek Trust based solely on my father's accusations with no other form of documented proof. Contrary to my attorney's objections that trust assets weren't supposed to be a probate issue, the court immediately ordered that all assets of the trust and guardianship be listed and submitted for their review. It is in my opinion that my father obviously told Attorney Newman how much money or liquid assets that he had or that were in the trust, and the court decided at that point that they wanted to take control of it and was going to devise a fabricated case against me to get it. At that time, I'll show you a copy of the trust. My parents, when they became declared incompetent by 2 separate physicians, the trust clearly states, should both of the initial trustees resign or be unable to continue to act as trustee, the grantor's son, Rudolph Joseph Setinsek, that is me, shall be appointed as successor trustee and have all the same powers and duties as the original trustee, to buy, to sell, and there's a list of things